Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
I suck, you suck, I suck at Call of Duty. You suck. You suck. You suck.
Welcome to the Not Playing Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
Marcus Hurley. Still playing Final Fantasy 15. God, that's a beast of a game. I'm just getting obsessed with travelling around in their goddamn car. I'm just like, it's like leveling up and challenging myself to. Because, I mean, I didn't say much about it because I literally just started the game last time we recorded. I don't know how far I'm into the game, to be honest, but probably just right at the start still. Well, near the start. But I've been battling. I love the combat. I was a bit shaky about it. I wasn't sure about it. I really get to grips with it. I really love the fact that you can do team-up strikes and everything else. Everyone does their own thing. And you're kind of like a general on the battlefield as well.
Cool.
And you've also got a wait option as well. So if your character keeps still, you have a wait bar. So everything pauses. And in that, you can scan like the creature that you're targeting as well and everything else. So you can either have it purely dynamic, or you've got the option to have some sort of, pause in the combat, so you can be a bit more strategic or anything else.
So you don't get to pause. You can't
You can choose two types, active and wait. Wait is basically you can pause the game, I think, during battle. I don't know. I've not tried it. I'm too busy going and freaking out when things are attacking me. But yeah, literally, if you set it to wait and you're running around, if you leave your character stationary, even for a moment, the game will pause and a grid thing will come up over the battlefield and it'll be showing what you're targeting. And if you've got a scan option equipped, it will be scanning. And once the bar's done, it will tell you its stats and all this sort of stuff. But my God, yeah, you go out in Final Fantasy games and you battle all hours. It turns to night. You just do that so you can see, what the game looks like at night. Don't battle at night when you're a low level on this game. You die. The first time I did this, literally, it was at the first place you stop at once the car breaks down, part of plot. And I was running around thinking, I'm getting used to this battling thing. Oh, sun's going down. Cool. Wonder what it looks like at night. I'm level 2, a level 15 Iron Giant literally claws its way out of the ground like it's coming from hell. And I'm like, I'm going to die, but I'm going to have a go at that. So I start battling this thing, and it's like killing my characters left, right, and centre. Just literally, and I'm hobbling away like, oh my God, this is not going to be like the demo. I've got no summons. I'm just going to die. And then these level 12 bomb creatures appear as well and start spewing fire. So you just get annihilated by these creatures at night. And then I spoke to someone. They said, "Oh yeah, don't go out at night. Demons come out." I'm like, well, thanks for the law. I could have done with that before roaming around in the wasteland, getting my arse handed to me. But I'm really kind of enjoying it. It's weird. It's very Japanesey. The characters very much look like, I think, as we joked last time, like they're from a boy band.
Yeah, definitely.
Massively. The car's cool. The game seems to be sponsored by Audi, because I look at the design tropes on the vehicles and there are a hell of a lot of Audi in there. They've definitely got some sort of deal with the car manufacturer company.
Well, they're a big company, Square.
Yeah, but I've got to say, I'm enjoying it a lot.
Cool. I've got a segue. I've got two segues I can do. Yep. One's a bit newsy and one's about a game I've been playing.
Cool.
Let's do the news one first.
Yeah, go for it.
Square Enix are doing some stuff with Marvel.
Nice.
You heard about this?
No, I'm not sure.
Because basically, Crystal Dynamics, who made Tomb Raider, and Eidos Montreal, who did Deus Ex Mankind Divided, are both going to be working on Avengers games. I think one of them is an Avengers game, one of them is a Guardians of the Galaxy game.
Oh, wow.
We're talking about companies that are making big AAA, proper big games. And like Eidos Montreal, they've actually said that they've put Deus Ex on hold because I don't think it did that well for them, which is a shame because apparently they had like a whole trilogy planned. So I'm a bit pissed off about that. But if it means we're going to get like some proper cool Avengers games of like a similar quality to like Arkham Knight, for example,
God,
I'd be up for that. I've been wanting a like proper good Iron Man game for ages.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Sorry, are you catching up on the news?
Yeah, I've just caught the trailer now. Sorry, just you mentioned Marvel, and my brain and fingers went ooh.
Yeah, they did release a bit of a like announcement teaser. There's not really a lot in that.
Well,
though,
to be honest, Marvel. I mean, I've been following news on Marvel and video games for a little bit because I follow a couple of YouTubers.
You have a Google alert.
Yeah,
Avengers.
just in my brain. because there were the whole crossover series, like the combat series that have been going since the 90s, where you had the Marvel and Street Fighter sort of arcade games and stuff that crossed over, the whole beat 'em up genre. And there was this big hoo-ha when Disney bought Marvel and they scrubbed it. So they stripped it from the PlayStation and Xbox store, so you could no longer buy these games. And very recently at, I can't remember, not Gamescom, possibly PlayStation Experience, they announced that they were doing a new Marvel vs. Capcom game based on all of the MCU characters and Capcom as well. And a lot of people said it's impossible. This was literally like, this was like Halo, this is like Half-Life 3 levels of mythology that this was going to happen. It was just bullshit in the internet for years and years and years. And then they've not only done that, they've also re-released in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as well, putting that back into the store, so it's out for the PS4, and they're also releasing it in March for PC and Xbox. No talk of all crossplay, but that kind of shows that they're getting more serious back into the gaming element, because Marvel were very much like, no, after being burned by Fox, they were very protective of their characters and everything, so they seem to be coming out more. So I've got big hopes for these games now, because if they're openly just done that, and that was the biggest quibble at the time, and now they've gone to Eidos Montreal and Square Enix and gone, make some games for us.
See, the thing is, I know Insomniac are working on a new Spider-Man game that they showed a trailer of and looks amazing, but it'll be bears to be seen if that's actually going to turn out any good. But the thing that made Arkham Knight so good is that Batman's got a really good cast of villains.
Yeah.
So I think that really helped make that so good. I can't think of anything else that they could do with the Marvel stuff on the same level unless they did the Civil War thing. Where they're fighting one another.
True, but the thing is, because it's a video game, and you see what Arkham Knight did to the Batman lore. They kind of took it and ran with it a little bit as well.
Well, they did it in such a way that it could all exist in one place.
Exactly. Yeah. They're doing it with the Marvel. I mean, they say it's the Marvel Universe. They say it's the Avengers. But the Marvel Universe, I mean, they can include stuff that won't even be happening, because it's all going to be tied up in a few years with the Infinity War and whatever their post-Infinity War movie is going to be. So, it's a game. They've got license to do whatever the hell. I mean, the roster of Marvel villains is insane. I mean, Doctor Strange has just unveiled Dormammu, an intergalactic space demon. You've got potential villains being unmasked all the time. I mean, the Captain Marvel film hasn't even come out yet, so God knows what that's going to do. You've got Guardians of the Galaxy 2 as well, so where's that going to go? And you've got Thanos,
I'm just sort of wary about like a situation where, it'd be great to have a game like where you were all playing as the different Avengers, but if you're just fighting those sort of, like, one of the weakest things I thought about the original Avengers movies was just those aliens. I just found them really uninspiring.
It was pretty much
like
horde
wave
battle.
wave of like insectoid alien generic.
Yeah.
You know, them all doing their thing is cool, but it would be cool if they were doing it against something a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
So that's why Civil War is always so compelling, because they're fighting one another.
Yeah.
And that's always interesting to see them squaring off against one another.
Yeah.
So
It's actual combat as opposed to just horde battle.
yeah, because that's what I mean. I mean,
that's
I know.
what took me out of the second film, to be honest, because it felt like it was more of the same. It was faceless enemy, just like you said, a wave of bodies, and they just smack them around, and it doesn't really hold much for it. You're not building any kind of feeling towards the actual event going on. You're almost
it all just
okay.
feels a bit inconsequential, like amount of disaster that if none of them existed probably wouldn't happen. You know?
Yeah, it feels a bit like once you've done your bit in the game, you watch the cutscene.
Yeah. But I mean, I would like a game that, you know, where you had like really kind of cool control over Iron Man. I know they've done those other like Ultimate Alliance games and stuff before, but they've always seemed a little bit slight for me. You know, when you've got other things going on, you know, like they sort of feel like a game you play on a handheld or a
they're very
last gen console or something, you know.
Yeah,
But,
the Marvel Alliance stuff. I think that if they did what Neil Blomkamp was going to do with his Alien film, and make an Iron Man story that's set before Iron Man 3, and basically do a Mandarin story, because the Mandarin is meant to be Iron Man's nemesis.
Right.
And the whole idea is like, you know, he's got these powered rings and he's super smart and everything else. And that, I think, would be quite a nice Iron Man story. One that actually goes into Iron Man's story, with his own set of villains and everything else. So then it's not just him teaming up with everyone else, like you said, against, faceless enemy number 452.
Yeah.
I think that would be quite interesting, actually delving into the characters more.
Yeah.
And having their own sort of Arkham-style story arcs going on, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't know how they'd do that and give all of the different characters enough room. I think it would be cool if they just did a game, did it like the movies, do an Iron Man game, do a Thor game, do a Hulk game, then bring them all together, like for a, you know,
a big game,
or do it as episodic, like the new Hitman game that I have been playing recently. Is that a segue? Maybe.
Why not?
Yeah. It's another game published by Square.
True.
So yeah, I played the first episode of the new Hitman game. I got it quite cheaply. I've not really played a Hitman game since the original one. Many years ago, which at the time looked incredible, but I looked at some screenshots of it the other day and no. So this is a good place to come back to the series if you're lapsed or never got round to it before. So you play the bald guy with the barcode on the back of his head, and you do the first
Agent
mission.
47.
Agent 47. You sort of the first mission comprises of like a series of training missions. Where you're kind of taught the basics of basically dressing up in lots of different outfits. Because that's basically what the game is, really. I mean, you can, if you want, you can make it very difficult for yourself by finding a place to snipe someone from, or, you know, literally just throwing a brick at someone's head and then pegging it, if that's how you want to go. But the game, basically, what they've done is, because before you'd try and be James Bond, but you kind of had to second guess the logic of the level, and you wouldn't always get it right. Inevitably, it'd turn into a gunfight and you'd die. So what they try and do is they try and suggest opportunities for you as you're playing it. And so, you know, for example, you know, you'll overhear someone talking and it will highlight that and be like, listen to what they just said, and it will actually give you waypoints to follow. So that's quite cool. It kind of alleviates the trial and error situation a bit. I'll give you an example. There's so after the training mission, there's a final mission in which you have to assassinate 2 people in a fashion show exhibition. So I went in, and I'm just kind of following the crowd, and I overhear some people, and I hear and I'm right inches from the guy I'm going to kill, and he goes, "Oh right, I've got to go over here." So you follow him, and you're sort of backstage, and I kind of went backstage, knocked this guy unconscious, got into his outfit, so now I'm a stylist, so I can walk around where they're getting dressed and getting their hair cut and stuff backstage. So that allows me to get backstage, and then I go into a toilet, and there's a tap, and it says turn the tap on. So I turn the tap on, and it floods the toilet. So a guy comes in, and he's like, oh no. I'm in a cupboard. I get out of the cupboard, I strangle him, put him in the cupboard, change into his outfit. So now I'm like staff. So I go into the kitchen, and the main man comes in with security guard, and I'm sweeping the floor, and they go out, and I follow them around a bit. I see they're going back in. I pass a vial of poison, so I go and poison some food. I don't know what that's going to do, but I just do it because I can. So anyway, that means that his main guard, when they come back in again, he grabs some of the poison food, runs out into the bathroom. I follow him into the bathroom. He's puking his guts up. So then I drown him in the toilet, nick his clothes, stick him back in the cupboard with the other guy. So at this point, his outfit comes with a phone that's got a button on it. I don't know what that does. So I press it. Oh, you have this like detective mode, so you can kind of see through walls, get an idea of where people are. So I press this button. It basically means that it goes into lockdown. So the 2 targets get rushed into this room at the front of this big sort of stately home where it's all taking place. So I basically just walk in. I'm dressed as their head of security. So I walk up the stairs. The guy goes, "Oh, sir, yes, but just follow them in. They're going into that room." I go in, and before they really clock me, you only have a certain amount of time to do this. Before they clock me, I notice they're both stood underneath a giant chandelier. So I just run over to the ropes, cut the cord of this thing. The chandelier comes down, splats them both. I jump over the chandelier onto the balcony, and I'm then hanging like this, and no one's detected me. And I'm like, oh, this is cool.
Oh my god.
So then I shambled away around this front of this building. Nobody saw me, went in the other wing of it, and then just walked out kind of fairly calmly, still looking like the head of security. But that's how I got through it, and that only took me, I died a couple of times on the way, and it took me about 45 minutes. And probably with the training missions as well, I probably only got about 2 hours out of it, but it was £5. So I'm thinking... Yeah. I mean, the game is geared for you to run all these contract missions and also like replay it because it opens up different starting places, different equipment. So the idea is that you could run that mission over and over and
loads
like
of different ways
unlock achievements. But I can't be arsed. I've done it now. I killed the 2 guys. I've get mission complete.
Mate, so, sounds like you've done it in style.
Yeah, I know. Well, I like the way that the game allowed me to do that without sort of like feeling like insta-death all the time. Yeah. Because even when I died sometimes, I was like, oh, right, that's because I didn't do that. Or it always seemed like there was a way around it. So I quite enjoyed it as a way back into that series. But I'm not in like a mega hurry to get the next episode. I'm happy to just wait for it to go on sale again. Because I think they're just releasing because season 1 came out all through last year, and they're just releasing it as like a full season 1 of Hitman. I think that comes out, or that's just come out at retail. So I think you can buy it all now for like the price of a normal game. But to buy all the episodes would probably cost you the price of a normal game, if not slightly more. So yeah, I'll I've got it on my wish list on Steam, so the next time it goes down to half price, I'll probably pick up the next mission. But I'm not like in any massive hurry. I don't know when there's any more Hitman coming out. Like I don't know when season 2's out, so maybe by the time season 2 comes out, I might have played the second mission in this. Apparently the ending of the season is not that brilliant, so it's clearly just a setup to do more of them. So I'm not in any great hurry to get through it all. It's quite a nice little diversion, but that's all really.
Nice.
Have you been playing anything else?
No, but I have been trying to follow more on this, and that's a remake of Final Fantasy VII. And they released just a screenshot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not a screenshot, but an image from it. And even though it was just an image of the character standing there with like the background of the big Mako reactor and the main antagonist in the background as well, Sephiroth, it made me kind of go because this game's getting closer and closer. There's been talk that it might be episodic, it might be a 3-part game, which kind of makes sense because it is Square's Enix's push the button in case of everything going down the
I've heard that.
And it's guaranteed to make money, guaranteed, even if they just, because they've re-released the original game so many times. There's been like PC versions, HD remakes on remakes, and they've all sold. They've all sold crazily. I've bought it on Steam twice, I think, inadvertently.
Yeah, they're saying that that because they're doing it episodically, it might not all make it into this console generation. That's what I heard.
Which makes me wonder. I'm thinking, well, we don't even know anything about the next consoles.
Yeah.
But are these games going to be so goddamn big that each one is going to be just ginormous? Which still makes me... I don't know. It might even be a day one console game for me if that happens, which is insane.
For it that long.
And it goes beyond all of my sensibilities. But yeah, I don't know. It's one game that I'm really holding out for, and I really hope they do it justice. Because if they fuck that up, it could be goodbye to Square.
Well, I don't know. They've got a lot of things going on with this Avengers
Marvel,
thing and the Tomb Raiders and stuff. So, I mean, I'm slightly, because I missed out on the whole Final Fantasy VII. Do you think the reason they're doing it episodically is because just to sort of scale all of that up for today's standards is such a task, or do you think it's because they're actually artificially inflating these games?
I don't know. I think they tried it with the Final Fantasy 13 series. And they got away with that. And I think it's because of that. If the third one of that series hadn't sold, they probably would have released it as a 2-part game. But I think because they've tried that, I mean, it's Square. There was that whole debacle with their pre-order and all this sort of stuff going on. And for something, I can't remember what it was a while back.
Deus Ex.
Yeah, and people basically have just fucked off. But they tried a business model. It paid off. They've got something they know is basically a license to print money with. Yeah. So they're going to do it. We know it's going to happen. We know we're going to buy it. I say we, the collective Final Fantasy geekdom.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. They know it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I just hope they don't mess it up. Yeah. I just hope they're actually really good games, because I'd quite happily buy the first two on whatever consoles are coming out and wait for the third, or maybe upgrade my rig finally and get them on PC, or both. Yeah, I'm that sad, unfortunately.
Well, I was quite pleased that they've announced a date for the Final Fantasy 12 remake. Yes, and that's coming out exclusively on PlayStation 4 on the 11th of July. So
I'll wait for the PC version.
Yeah, I guess that
we
could
all know
always
that
happen.
Exclusive just applies to consoles, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot going on Xbox One at the moment. I tell you what, there is so much coming out on PS4 at the moment. Neo has just been reviewed. That's the Team Ninja Dark Souls sort of game. Yeah. That's out next week.
That looks amazing.
It's been getting great reviews. It's apparently the best thing they've done since Ninja Gaiden. And it's that kind of difficulty. It feels like it's just going to be utterly punishing, because...
Well, I've been watching a couple of Let's Plays of the demo bit where you come in from the edge and you just fight a couple of demons and that's it, kind of thing. Yeah. And there's one bit you got to watch your footing. There's one bit where he runs around in this puddle and you're and he just drops to his death because there's there's an actual abyss and you
right.
can't see it. So you literally just run around and you think, oh, this is just a little wind cave, a little puddle. No, it's not. It's a great big 50, 60 metre drop and your character's dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like Dark Souls again.
Yeah. Well, it's because when all this whole Dark Souls phenomenon sort of started happening, I was always like, well, I remember like the original game that I found really difficult was the Ninja Gaiden, which is done by Team Ninja, who have done Neo, and now it's kind of like it's gone full circle.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, is this my way into that genre? Maybe, you know, I've got Bloodborne here, but I don't know when I'm going to quite get round to that because I've got too much on the go right now. I'm still playing Dishonored. I'm determined to finish Skyrim this year, and the other game I've been playing is Yakuza 0, which I should probably caveat I did get from work. You know, it's it was a promo I got, but it's been quite well reviewed, so I thought I'd check it out, honestly. And it's quite cool. I'd not played a Yakuza game before. I know you mentioned in the week, was this to do with Shenmue, and I don't think it is, because Shenmue was a Dreamcast series.
Yeah, but it's just, I remember when the games came out, a lot of the team members that worked on Shenmue went over and I think worked on some of the Yakuza games. 'Cause a lot of the assets were very similar back in the old, is it PS2 era or something when it first came out?
Yakuza, the original Yakuza. There's like three or four games in the series, and it was all PS2, perhaps PS3. But this one is actually a prequel. And I think the idea is that they're going to be remaking all of the original games going forward. But I think this was like maybe going to originally be a sequel, but they sort of retooled it to try and sell it on to a new generation of people that hadn't really played those games before. So I'm kind of glad they did it that way, because I'm quite enjoying it. For my money, it's kind of the first sort of game. Well, the last game I played kind of like it would be probably BioWare's Jade Empire, which came out years and years ago for the original Xbox. And the reason I say that is because you have all these different fighting stances. You kind of start off with this basic sort of your sort of battle stance, where you land a few blows in succession. You do like the basic sort of light attack, heavy attack combo, and also
chain combos and stuff. Yeah,
and you build up like this heat meter, which has like 3 levels, and when it's on the 3rd level, you can do a grab and then use your heavy attack to kind of do this uber epic move. But then after like a little while, you pick up this rush style, which allows you to fight super quickly and also dodge like very cool. Like you can do 3 very quick dodges. And then I've just got the beast stance, which allows you to basically use improvised objects. You can always go and pick stuff up, but you have to go over to it, pick it up, then attack with it. In the beast stance, you can just attack an object and you pick it up automatically and smack the living daylights out of whoever's nearby. So it means like you can run over to a bike, press attack, you pick up the bike, swing it round your head, take out 5 guys. So it's quite fun. I've played through the first chapter now. I think there's 5. And I did that over the weekend. It's got a bit of a cumbersome save system, I must say, because I played the game for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and not once did it actually tell me or prompt me to save the game. And in these days, like, you're just used to games saving, like, all the time. So like I went out of the game and it said, are you sure, you'll lose all your save progress? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure, of course you've saved it. Of course on PS4 you have to kind of go through that save data process. I forgot. And so I lost all my progress after 2 hours. However, 2 of those 2 hours, I would say probably an hour and 50 minutes of it was cutscenes and dialogue. So I was able to skip my way through to where I was in about 15 minutes. And do you know what I mean? Like, that's just Japanese games for you. I mean, long-winded does not cover it.
I used to love the cutscenes, though. I remember they used to be...
They're cool, and the storytelling's pretty cool in this too.
I don't know. It's really weird, because my love affair with gaming almost ended entirely, I gotta say, which is strange, me being on a gaming podcast. Because I was struggling. to finish games, struggling to even bother to buy them and play them. I was still interested, but you follow the development and stuff of games, but as a kind of journalistic interest. But the few games I've been playing, and I've had a few, like, as you said, from work, which has basically made it a lot easier and a lot more accessible.
Well, yeah,
I've really enjoyed them, and
it's quite a lot to fork out for a thing that you don't really have a lot of time for.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, I struggle. I mean, I've got a long commute. I'm single though. I think that probably gives me a little bit more time than most people would have. I mean, and my housemate's been away this week, so the last couple of nights I've come in, had dinner, stuck the PS4 on for a couple of hours, and that's great. Happy days. That's what I love to do. And I can also play a little bit at lunchtimes at work. I've got Skyrim installed at work, so that's quite cool. I can do the odd 15-minute halt, like sell some loot and stuff, do a quick dungeon. So that's quite handy. Just have to watch the clock, so it's not quite as nice as playing at the end of the day. But so it's all about a balance, really, though. And yeah, no, I am enjoying Yakuza though. It's I did a couple of weird side missions, one of which involved me being involved in a food documentary. I was a producer and had to basically know the right lingo. So when they said, what did they say? You've got to grocer the vegetables. So you get 3 options of what to do. You can put them away, you can stand them up on edge, or you can remove all the fruit or something. And I put them up on edge, and they're like, yeah, man, you've got the lingo, you know what grocer means. And so it gives you like these 3 challenges, and then it ends in a fight, obviously. But there's I've done a two little I'm basically in the process of getting there's these homeless people, and I need to give them I said I'd do a round of drinks in return for some information on this shady real estate company that I like in the game. And so I've got to basically go round and to these different off licenses to get these different. One wants champagne, one wants beer, and because it's dragging me all through town, I'm getting into fights and doing all these sub quests on the way. So like the game's starting to open out now. So I can imagine spending quite a bit of time with it. It's pretty solid. I like it. It's like a beat 'em up, and it's an RPG. And I'm a big RPG fan, but I'm also a fan of those old school brawlers, and I haven't played anything quite like it in quite a long time.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, I got to say, I've been watching the lineup of things being released on the PS4, and I am sorely tempted.
Well, if you think you can throw enough time at it to make it worthwhile,
yeah, I mean, there's a few titles already that I'm like, well, I really do want to play it, but I know I will get one eventually. By which time there'll probably be a nice, I don't know, 18 billion gig version or something. PS4 Pro.
Well, I imagine they'll probably be the base version now. I think was going for about 200 quid with a decent kind of exclusive game. And I reckon by next Christmas it'll be cheaper if they haven't phased it out and it's just the PlayStation Plus.
I would be careful because they are moving a lot of models. Well, it's like the Xbox. I mean, the version I've got is already, I would say, kind of obsolete because you've got the Xbox S.
But it's not. It's still compatible. So
it is, but it's But I mean, I've only got like the 500 gig hard drive, and I'm sure they'll phase that out probably.
Yeah, but how many games can you play at once?
Yeah, true.
I mean, I don't even know how much space I've got on my PS4, but I haven't downloaded any games because they're astronomically expensive on the PlayStation Store. 55 quid, fuck off. It's 42 quid for a box copy. I've also been borrowing games, and I've been from work and from friends and getting promos, so I'm swimming in PS4 games.
So that's the thing, when you come from PC games when they're like 30 quid, 40 quid for a nice shiny with extras on them, it's crazy when you're looking at games that are 50, 60 quid, you think, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
PC mustard rice all the way.
Yeah. The only other thing I was going to mention was the Nintendo Switch, now that we've got details on that, but my main takeaway is that it's kind of a novel concept, but the games are really pricey. And though I love the idea of being able to play Skyrim on the go, there's no way I'm starting that game again.
Not the third time, no.
Yeah, I
well,
mean...
that's the thing. It's just... I think, for me, it's kind of like the whole idea of it being out and about and playing with your mates and stuff. How is that going to work in reality? I mean, they still haven't really addressed that. Are you going to play like Mario Kart for 15 minutes and then the battery's dead because you've got 8 of your mates playing it and it's just...
Yeah, they've said the battery life will vary on depending on what you're playing on it. So it's like 2.5 to 4.5.
If you switch it on, it's 8 hours. If you play a game, it's 4.
Yeah.
And if you play a good game, it's probably 2.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember the last time I was hanging out with 5 of my mates, being a bit bored. You know, I mean, honestly, I think the sort of people this appeals to probably aren't going to be able to afford it, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and they're bringing it out in March. There'll be the real, like, Nintendo fanboys will run out and grab it straight away. Nintendo will make it, you know, short supply artificially to make sure that it's rare.
They sell their batch, yeah.
Yeah, but I think they fucked up so royally with the Wii U that you know, I'm prepared to give them some slack. I just don't think it's for me. You know, I haven't had a Nintendo console in years. I'm not going to change that now. There's nothing they have that I'm that interested in. I'm
only now thinking of getting a Wii U now that they're extinct.
Yeah, you'll probably pick up a really cheap one now.
Only because for the other half's 30th, I wanted to get her the Zelda game because it was planned to come out near the end of the year. But it's, despite it being a Wii, a Switch launch title, it's also coming out on the Wii U.
It is.
So yes. I can't justify buying a brand new console, which I don't care so much about. I'd rather buy a lesser console I care more about, which will still be mildly expensive, but have more of the games, and at least we can sit down and, you know, fart about and have a laugh on some of the multiplayer bits and pieces.
Absolutely.
As opposed to some really expensive gimmick, which, you know, doesn't have much titles for it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the launch lineup's looking pretty slim for now. I mean, Skyrim, they say, is launch window, so no precise date.
The only couple of games I'm interested looking through that list is, like you said, like I said, the Legend of Zelda and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, only because I heard that's a pretty decent, meaty Japanese RPG.
Yeah.
But I'll probably be getting, or trying to get, the original. I think the original's one of those rare games that's gone up to like $200 if you have a copy of it or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just interested in trying to get some JRPGs and stuff for it. To join the ranks of my games list.
Yeah,
I'm
just getting this whole kind of like Japanese vibe at the moment. I mean, not just because I'm playing Yakuza, but also like just the fact that like a game like Neo is out. We've got Nier Automata, which I think is Japanese as well. There's a new Final Fantasy out. I'm just getting this really cool sort of Eastern vibe as far as gaming goes right now.
It's a bit like the 90s again, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I feel it's about time though. There's not really an awful lot scheduled to come out. I mean, there's a couple of big games like Mass Effect and Prey, and Horizon Zero Dawn, another PS4 exclusive that I'm quite excited about. But yeah, I think this last year I ended up playing a lot of like scrappy little games. I think this year's going to be a year of like massively big, fucking massive games, meaty experiences, and I'm all up for that. To be honest, I'm ready for it.
This has been the Not Playing podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself, Marcus and Ian talk about movies and TV on the Not Watching podcast, and Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of funny things on the Not Listening podcast. You can email us at notplayingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notplayingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya.
I suck at Call of Duty.